Welcome to Badger University. Today is February 15th, 2022. I'm Mike Jones, owner of Badger Coffee Roasters, located here in the Chicagoland area. Today's topic on the university is espresso. When I first started the coffee roasting business, people asked, "Hey Mike, are you going to have some type of espresso blend or espresso roast or some type of a drink that I can make with an espresso or a certain type that I can make with an espresso?" I said, well, enlighten me. What do you mean by that question? Most people thought that espresso is a certain type of bean that we get imported into the United States and that we roast. However, the word espresso in Italian means pressed out. So what typically your typical espresso bean is your typical Arabica primarily or Robusta bean roasted darker than your standard dark roast. In the coffee world, what we'll do is we'll roast that espresso bean or that espresso blend to a second crack. Your light roast is when the beans crack in the roaster one time. Your dark roast is when the bean crack twice. Anywhere in between that is what we consider the medium roast. And after the second crack is what we consider an Italian or French or sometimes a Mexican roast. And people enjoy that dark roast because it holds up well with the cream. So how do I make an espresso from that dark roast Arabica bean or Robusta bean, but typically Arabica, is I take that dark roasted coffee, I put it in my industrial grinder, bird grinder, and I put that setting to an espresso setting. And what that does is that's one of the finest settings you can get. Opposite than a French press, not quite as fine as like a Turkish, but that's one of the finest settings you can get. And we put that into the machine and we press that hot water down that coffee, and it creates 1 or 2 shots of espresso depending on the setting. People always say, I like my espresso coffee in the morning because it has that caffeine and it wakes me up. However, a fun fact is 1 cup of regular coffee equals to 3 shots of espresso, typically. So that person that's getting that 1 shot of espresso or 2 shot of espresso, that 1 cup of regular coffee has more caffeine content than 1 and 2 shots of espresso. It typically requires 3 shots of espresso to equal that 1 cup of coffee. Now, people like this espresso, including myself, because it's a smaller volume, smaller capacity. You can take a shot of the espresso and it doesn't fill you up like that 1 cup of coffee may do for you. If you like the content in this video, hit the subscribe button, leave a question or comment in the comment section, and we can address it next week on the university. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Mike Jones, Badge Brew Coffee Roasters. What's your badge of honor? Have a great week.